Are you ready to explore colors? Let's get started. Okay. In today's class, we are going to be looking at shading and shadows. So shading and shadows are two things that actually bring perspective and life to a picture. For this class, you'll be needing a wad of papers and one pencil. So first, let's begin with our first 3D shape that we made, a cone. So we made like a triangle and then a half oval in the bottom, which is how we made the cone. And to shade this cone, we need to imagine a point of light source. Shading happens because of light. So I am going to first imagine that the light is coming at this direction, from this direction, and it is parallel to the cone. In this case, this face of the cone gets the full light. So this will be the lightest shaded areas, and this side will be the darkest parts. So look how I'm using the same pencil, but I'm just varying the pressure on the paper, going from like really pressing on the paper to lightly shading out. Okay, now the shadow is going to be, since it's parallel, the light source is parallel to the cone, the shadow is going to be almost the same height as the cone, but sideways. So up until here, and it's going to be something like that. And as with the lighting, the areas closest is going to have the darkest shading of the shadow, and then it becomes lighter as it goes away. Like that. Okay, now let's see if the light is at an angle. So there's the cone. And let's imagine the light comes in at an angle from the top. It's not perpendicular, it's not right at the top, but it comes at an angle. Then these areas of the cone, like this area, that gets the maximum light. So the other areas on this side and on the bottom here will be the darkest, and these areas will have a really light shading. So this areas here will have the lightest of the shading, and this area over here, which is kind of in the opposite direction of the light source, will have the dark shading, and the shadow will be the same direction as the light source. So our shadow is going to be right here. So like that. This is going to be the outline of our shadow, and again the areas closest to the cone will have the thickest intensity of shadow, the darkest color, and as we go out of it, it gets lighter and it kind of dissipates at the edges. So then let's see another cone. And this time the light is from the top. So since the base of the cone, like here is the cone, and the light is from the top, and the base of the cone is larger than the top, so you won't see any, you'll barely see a shadow around the cone. So I'm going to put like really little ringlets for the shadow, because since the base is wider than the top, you'll barely see a shadow, and all areas of this cone will get almost equal light. So I'm going to shade it a little darker on the bottom, and then kind of reduce the shading, really reduce shading on the top. So that's shading of a 3D shape. So we have seen light come in from the side, from the at an angle from the top, and from right above. So there are the 3 examples of that. Now it's pretty easy because it's oval on the top, parallel lines, half an oval on the bottom. I'm going to make 3 cylinders so that we can compare the light next to each other. And since this is for shading, I'm not going to be paying much attention to the shape. So now on this cylinder, let's see light from the top but not the center. On this cylinder, let's see light from the left, parallel on a side, and on this cylinder, light from the top, right above. Okay, so as we saw, the light will fall on this side, so the shadow is going to be on this side, like parallel to this, like over here. And this side is going to be like really dark, and it gets lighter on this side, and then on these sides it's going to be really light. And the shadow over here, so near to the, I think it's going to be dark, and it gets lighter as it moves away. On this one, since the light is from the parallel side, the whole of this is going to be like really dark, and then it gets lighter here, and lighter than that over here, and really light on this side, and the shadow is going to be long because the light is from the side, and lighter shadow on the away parts and really dark shadow on the areas nearer to the can. And on this one, where the light is from the top, the bottom is going to be like really dark, and then a little lighter above it, a lot more lighter on the top, and on the topmost part you can barely see the shading. And since the light is from top and the top and the bottom are the same, there will be no shadow for this cylinder. You see how when it is at an angle, even the bottom parts are a little darker, but it's when parallel, only the sides are really dark, and these parts on the side starts getting thinner. Okay. So now we are going to see the sphere or the circle. So that's our circle, and to make it a sphere we are going to be shading it like we did last time. We saw a little bit of shading with the sphere. So I am imagining my light is from here, so these parts are going to be like really dark, so really dark on the edges, and then as it goes it gets a little lighter. And then even more lighter. And then even more. Okay, so the shadow is going to be over here. And again, really dark right around it. And thinner as it goes away. There we go. I want you guys to try drawing a circle and then shading it. If the light is like, let's take a new paper and let me show you. So draw a circle. So draw a circle and then shade it if the light is from the top, if the light is on this side, and if the light is on this side. Imagine how it is going to be and try doing it by yourself. Now, these are all with black and white, with just an ordinary pencil. This was just with an ordinary pencil. Now let's try it with colors. So I'm going to choose 3 colors that are sister colors, I would say. I have the yellow, I have the orange, and I have the red. So if we mix yellow and red, you get orange. So these are kind of related colors. So I have taken these, and I'm going to draw a cube. So there's the cube, and let's shade it in a way that the thickest, let's imagine the light from here, from this direction. So this is going to be the thickest part of it, over here and over here. And then a little lighter shade, which is orange, around here. And the lightest the sides, this side has the full impact of the light, so it's going to be like really light on this side. The top, this areas have a lighter shade, and then a little darker after that, and then really dark after that. For the shadow, let's follow the same rule. Dark first edge around it, lighter around it, and a much lighter shade on the outermost side. Now go ahead and try using your color pencils or crayons to shade either a cone, a cube, or a sphere. So today we saw shading and shadows. So this is the cone, the 3 types of directions of light with the cone. We also did that with the cylinders, and we also saw one style of a sphere light-wise. In the next class, we'll be doing the all the 3D shapes with watercolors, and we'll also be doing scenery painting using the basic shapes with watercolors.